welcome to Gemstone Tarot. This is your daily tarot for 26th, 27th of January 2019. I wanted to say April. That's bonkers. Valentine is here. Where is she? There she is. Can you see her? She's having a wash. She's preparing herself for the big sit down, aren't you, sweetheart? And Valentine is here too. Yep. I got my crazy cat jumper on today. I have to say, the energies that we've had over the last, well, since just drawing up to the eclipse and beyond the eclipse, have been testing, haven't they? And they have been testing me in terms of just like, I don't know, like low energy and I don't know. The energy seems to be getting into, you know, that T.S. Eliot poem, and I'm always referring to it, Love Song of Alfred J. Prufrock, when he talks about the fog and the fog becomes personified and it licks against the window panes, you know, and it gets into the kind of, this is my fog mime, it gets into the corners of things. And I feel like this particular Eclipsean energy and what surrounds it is getting into the corners of things like there's no tomorrow. So I thought, you know, sometimes there's only so much you can do. Sometimes you put on your comedy jumper. I'm wearing my comedy jumper. Let's do the flip. Hang on. I love that so much. Clothing that you can interact with. Yes. Yes, Valentine. I'm back with the Greeks today. We're having the Mythic Tarot. Just felt right. Don't know why. Feels like quite a deep reading. Haven't even done it yet. Yeah, all right, she says, drawing the Seven of Swords in reverse. It just feels... I don't know what the word even is for it. And you know me, I'm quite good with my words. But today I am lost. Lost. Whew, by gum. Now some of you are going to speak to me about reversals. I can tell. Because lots of these are in reverse. It's nothing in particular I do about my tarot packs. I know some of you are saying, you need to sort out your tarot packs. No, I don't. I'm just honest about what cards come up. And sometimes there's a lot of reversals, and I probably could have told you that before I pulled them today, because I can kind of feel it. I've got my can you feel it thing going on. I'm starting with two sevens in the reverse. Seven of Swords and the Seven of Wands in the reverse. Actually, you want these to be in the reverse more than in the upright. Seven of Swords is... You know, I call it my Sneaky Fox card, and ultimately it's known as the Thief card. And it can be acts of treachery and skullduggery and sneaky foxness. When the Seven of Swords goes into the reverse, or even in the upright, sometimes it is, and I say this particularly because... Again, and this is obviously a key to it today, Love Song of Alfred J. Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. Towards the end of it, he talks about being politic. And I always remember reading that word and that line and just thinking, oh, he's not said political, he said politic, you know. And that use of politics with a small p is in this reading, or the need for it. Do you know the last few days we've had the Magician and we've had the Moon, and I think we've had the Seven of Swords as well. And there is some kind of manoeuvring going on. Well, all good things come to an end. And I feel like sometimes you just lay down the gauntlet, okay? I got the Seven of Wands in reverse, and the Seven of Wands is the fight. This is the fight. It's a bun fight. Two sevens, Seven of Swords, Seven of Wands, both in reverse. The need to fight diminishes, and the need to maneuver diminishes as well from the situation. Alongside it, the Two of Swords goes into reverse, which again is a good card to have in reverse, because when the Two of Swords is like this, nothing can move. You know, it's polarity and stuckness. When it moves into reverse, it starts a momentum. And it's not an easy momentum, and I could tell you that anyway because I can feel it, but Page of Swords in reverse. A message is unclear. If you look at that, that's clarity, okay? That's clarity right there in the blue and in the cloud and in the kind of, I always think of this in, well, it is mountain air. You can see the mountains. I'm not making it up. It's like that kind of clear mountain. I mean, I've never been anywhere with mountains, but I can imagine it would be like that. It's clarity. You've been waiting for this message to come in. You've been waiting for the sword of clarity to cut through the fog. We've called it the muddy waters. We've called it the grey area. We can call it what we like, but it's still here at the moment. But sometimes it's only when we give up the sword, you know, it's only when we lay down the gauntlet. It's got the Ace of Cups in reverse. Now, normally, of course, you would read this as difficulty in love. I don't actually today. You don't have to always. The other cards aren't speaking about particularly love relationships. They're speaking about dropping, laying down the gauntlet. I mean, that's a gauntlet. Look at it, for God's sake. It's about 10 times the size of Aphrodite's head. It's not the time. It's the time to do this. You know, please don't do that literally, but there's a power in giving up. 10 of Wands. It's like when you reach the 10 of Wands, you get to go to the Ace of Wands again. Sometimes you've got to reach, and it's not even, well, it may be a crisis point, but it's not even that clear that you're reaching a crisis point. You probably won't even know. You can't, you know, you don't reach a crisis point and think, aha, I've reached a crisis point, because otherwise you wouldn't be at a crisis point. It's a sense of muddledness, of unclearness, and surrender. It is surrender. That, my friends, is surrender, okay? Much more palatable to be doing it with a white flag, but hey, whatever. Whatever your means of surrender is. And then Conchita from Eurovision, I love this card. 9 of Pentacles. Somehow, personal power comes from your ability to finally cave and surrender to this. 9 of Pentacles. It's a sense of independence. You know, power is a big word, obviously. And I don't mean, again, it's not that neat, is it? You don't just say, I surrender, and then whoomph, I feel empowered, you know? It's just, life isn't that clean. Or it wouldn't be life. This is a mess. I'm not going to tidy it. Just in the same way, I'm not going to pull out all my reverse cards. These cards are in reverse for a reason. Some days are like that. Some spells are like that. I feel like this is a spell. I don't mean as in magic spell, although I'm not sure I don't, because the Magician has come up so many times. We all know I can't get the date right. Just flick back over the last few, you know, weeks of daily reading. I don't think that's because I'm losing my mind. I hope not. Who knows? I'd be the last to know, but I think there's a reason for it. I don't think it's been a very, this is just my take on it, okay? And I know I'm blathering. I don't think it's been a very chronological year. And yes, I think some years are more chronological than others. I don't, for myself, particularly believe in time anyway. You know I don't. I can't live in it. It doesn't really mean that much to me. But it doesn't feel sequential. This year, in fact, no years are. It doesn't feel linear. It doesn't feel like we're living through a calendar to me. It feels like this is a spell. And a spell is like a season or a wave or whatever you know it to be. This is a general reading. This is what's going on in this particular spell at the moment. Now, what do I want? I want Brian and Wendy Frood. Brian and Wendy Frood, Heart of the Fairy Oracle, or as we've come to know it, Heart of My Bottom, because it really is from the heart of my bottom. Brian and Wendy Frood. I nearly said the F word. That's how much I love this pack. I love this particular pack. This is Heart of the Fairy Oracle. Amazing. You can, ooh, that card has come up so many times. We get the big behind. Now there's two things to this card. This is a fairy who is doing a moon. And you know, we talked the other day when we did the full moon reading, and I talked about, whenever I say full moon, my desire to go back to high school and moon, okay? Do a YouTube moon, which of course I'm not going to do because probably my channel would get taken off and it would be all incredibly unladylike. But Brian and Wendy Frood have managed it here in a ladylike fashion. The reason this fairy is showing you the proverbial is because you've got to see things from a different perspective. You've got to, and I don't just mean that in that weak sense of everything's so bad that the only thing I've got left is to tell you to see it from a different perspective. No, this is actually literally throwing out the rule book and seeing things from a different place. Now, whether that's a different time frame, a different level of the universe, whatever you have for you, we are human beings. Losing my voice. We are human beings, and there is a lot more to us than meets the eye. There's a lot more psychological levels and gradients than the particular world has frameworks for, okay? Yes. Guess what oracle card we get to go with the big behind? We get Imagine. I love that, okay? I really do. I just know that it's not enough to deal with the parameters that we've got. It steps outside that. That's why it's so muddy, because the answers to this may not even necessarily be rational or verbal. Let's have a healing with the angels. Oracle card. Yes. Don't know about you, but I've been having some weird dreams. I would normally say to you at this point, write them down within 5 minutes of waking up. Maybe you don't even have to do that. Maybe they don't translate from that oceanic dream world onto your iPhone, you know? Maybe you just need to acknowledge them and be prepared to step into them as much as into this world, if that makes sense. Because there are bridges between them and the answers, and it's not as easy as questions and answers, but whatever we want to call resolution of this or the processing of this is not necessarily in a straightforward and linear way, because that's not what we're dealing with, and that's not what has come in. Whew! I was channeling then. I can't speak properly when I'm channeling. Did you like that, Valentine? I hope you liked that. I realised it was quite verbose and there was a lot of T.S. Eliot. If you haven't checked out T.S. Eliot, The Love Song of Alfred J. Prufrock, and I know that most of you will have done, whether you're into poetry or not, it's a classic. It's probably my favourite, one of my top 5, you know, favourite poems of all time. It's more of a spiritual mantra than it is a poem to me. So that's kicked in, dreams kick in, oceanic things kick in, muddy waters kick in, and maybe even muddy waters as in the music. 9 of Pentacles is the only card in the upright, so hurrah for that. Give in to the idea or lose the idea of linear solutions, okay? And give in to the lateral. Please do leave me a comment. Let me know how it resonates, okay? And do like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.